I was searching. I was searching online. What is wrong with me? Why am I not enjoying this period? It's supposed to be amazing. And I tried everything. Bubble bath, changing my vitamins, exercising more, calling my friends. And yes, those things did help, but it was such a temporary relief. And then the baby would cry or my toddler needed something. And it was just overwhelming again. And everything I've done to feel better was kind of like gone.
Ever feel like you suck at this job? Motherhood, I mean. Have too much anxiety and not enough patience? Too much yelling, not enough play? There's no manual, no village, no guarantees. The stakes are high. We want so badly to get it right. But this is survival mode. We're just trying to make it to bedtime. So if you're full of mom guilt, your temper scares you, you feel like you're screwing everything up, and you're afraid to admit any of those things out loud, this podcast is for you. This is Failing Motherhood. I'm Danielle Bettman, and each week we'll chat with a mom ready to be real, sharing her insecurities, her fears, her failures, and her wins. We do not have it all figured out. That's not the goal. The goal is to remind you, you are the mom your kids need. They need what you have, you are good enough, and you're not alone. Danielle. I hope you pop in earbuds, somehow sneak away, and get ready to hear some hope from the trenches.
Your family is healthy. Hopefully
you belong
you're
here,
surviving
friend.
the cold
We're so
wherever
glad you're
you
here.
are. And probably beating yourself up for not sticking to your resolutions already. And if that is you, I hope that this episode feels really accessible. We are talking about all the things: failing motherhood, anxiety, rage, mom guilt, anger, all the things, but another new way to treat it. So in December, we were talking about medication. We had another episode about life coaching. And now this episode is talking about an app that uses some hypnotherapy as opposed to traditional meditation. And I really urge you to come into this episode with an open mind, because we talk about how we debunk the expectation or preconceived notion of what hypnotherapy or hypnosis is. And I have used this app. I really love the concept. I think it's really well executed. And as you hear this guest story, I hope that you find yourself in it and possibly give it a try. So on this episode, I am interviewing Irin Rubin. She is co-founder of an app called MamaZen, and it is a hypnotherapy session recordings app where it's very customized and you find topical recordings to listen to. And they vary on topics, vary in length. But it's a really, really cool way to address some of the subconscious reasoning for your mindset and where you're coming from and what you're struggling with. So she shares her story, how she came to kind of create it, what it's all about. And I'm excited to share it with you, because I think that even if one mom listening to this downloads it and really benefits from it, then that will be worth it for both of us. So Irin has 2 daughters herself. She gets it, and she's just here to resonate and reflect with you. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. And I have to put that plug in every once in a while. If you are loving the podcast, go ahead and leave a review on Apple Podcasts, or I think Spotify. You can give star ratings now. Show your support. Find me on Instagram. I am at parent_wholeheartedly. And follow along there. And just tell me that you're listening to the podcast, or that a certain episode really resonated with you. It makes my day when I get to connect with listeners, because podcasting is a very one-sided situation. And it still blows my mind that people are even listening to this, because it just feels like you release it into the ether and there's just crickets. So thank you for the messages and for the support and for listening and for helping grow the podcast and sharing it with a friend. It really, really matters. And you are not alone when we can resonate together. So here is the episode with Irin. Welcome to Failing Motherhood. My name is Danielle Bettman, and on today's episode, I'm joined by Irin Rubin. Hi, Irin.
Hello.
How are you?
Very good. Nice to be here. It's exciting to start the year with an awesome podcast about motherhood.
Yes. I'm so excited. I had found you like a year ago, so it feels like it's been a long time in the making to be able to connect and sit down, and I'm excited to pick your brain about all the things that you've created, and we'll kind of get to that down the line. But I always want to know first who you are. So introduce yourself to our guests and talk about who you are and who's in your family.
So I'm a mother of two little girls, 7.5 and 5. And I think like every mom goes through this process of failing motherhood. I was definitely failing in the beginning. And through my process of recovery and finding the solutions that were right for me and my family, I stumbled upon an amazing creation of mind and body combination that I had to share with the world, which is why I created the app MamaZen. And I think my journey is pretty exciting. I think there's a lot more to come. Obviously, as the kids get older, it's going to be new challenges. But so far, from my experience, motherhood has a lot of ups and downs, a lot of failing moments, but a lot of also huge success moments. And I'm excited to share that with you.
Yes. Yeah, you qualify. You're one of our people.
Awesome.
If you can be honest and admit that motherhood is hard and you have felt like you're failing, then that's what we're here to talk about. So for you, what did that journey look like from before you were a mom, what you expected motherhood to look like, and what it ended up being? Tell us a little bit about that transition for you.
So before I became a mom, I really, really thought I was ready. I read the books. I talked to my husband about anything you can think of after having kids. And oh my goodness, life showed me that nothing can be planned when you become a parent. So I had obviously the perfect birth plan, but that didn't work out because I was induced.
Of course.
So my delivery experience was pretty traumatic for me. Because I felt like I failed myself and my baby, but also because it was a very extremely strenuous and exhausting. And my first moments as a mom were, it felt like I was hit by a truck and I have to take care of another person. So that by itself caused me a lot of anxiety and fears. And for somebody who hasn't been around babies for a while, I had no idea how fragile they are, how they can't control their vision, their hands, they eat and then they have to go right away. It was like really, really mind-blowing to me that like they're complete as a person, but they are incapable of doing a lot of things, including being breastfed, which you would assume is supernatural.
Yes.
And right away I got hit with, I had fever, my baby had fever, she had to stay at the hospital. Breastfeeding was not easy. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening to my life now? This is far from what I expected. After we went home, my baby was colic. So for hours and hours at a day, she was screaming, and it was so hard because I've done everything, right? I changed the diaper, I burped. It was like, what am I not doing? And there was a lot of pressure. And I remember going to my first 6-week doctor appointment, and I was shocked. It was only about how physically you feel. And basically 6 weeks after delivering a baby, you can do whatever you want. You can go exercise. You can go back to work. You can just live your life. And I felt like, but my life is so different. And I'm one of the lucky ones who didn't have a postpartum depression, but I had a type of a depression. And there was really nothing was offered to me. And I felt like I had to like figure it out all on my own. I was surrounded by family and friends, but it seemed like everybody was like, well, just take your time and try to figure this out. And I'm like, I just don't feel like myself anymore. And then, of course, second baby comes. And you have all these fears of, oh my God, how is the delivery going to be? Am I going to be able to breastfeed this time? How is my first child going to react to the second child? How am I going to take care of both? How is my relationship with my husband going to be? And you are just bombarded with thoughts about everything you can think of. What is this baby going to be like? What am I not going to know what to do? And again, I fell into this kind of like routine of like waking up in the morning, just dreading the day. I wasn't sleeping enough at night because my baby needed a lot of attention at night. So over time, I think I got into the burnout that 93% of moms feel, according to a survey that was done last year. And I would basically wake up tired. By the evening, I would feel like inflammation all over my body. And I was searching. I was searching online. What is wrong with me? Why am I not enjoying this period? It's supposed to be amazing. And I tried everything. Bubble bath, changing my vitamins, exercising more, calling my friends. And yes, those things did help, but it was such a temporary relief. And then the baby would cry or my toddler needed something. And it was just overwhelming again. And everything I've done to feel better was kind of like gone. Mm-hmm. And luckily for me, my husband is a clinical hypnotherapist. And he deals with the mind and body. And he's very good at what he does. And I remember sitting on the couch at home. And every day in the evening, he would come from the office and tell me, I helped this person with anxiety. This person had fears for 20 years of leaving their house or talking in front of people. And I was able to help them. And in 3 sessions, they feel amazing and they completely change. And this mom was always angry at her kids. And she has 5 of them. And now she's super calm and the family feels better. And I was sitting on the couch one night and I was crying. I'm like, I can't take this anymore. You're helping so many people. I really need help. Our family needs help. I'm not a good mother. I'm not happy with how I parent our kids. I'm angry. I have rage. I have exhaustion. And I said, please, I'm not going to come to your office because I have a baby at home and a toddler and I don't have the time. Can you make me a recording? I'm going to listen to it and I want to feel better and I'm out of options. And the same night, he made me an amazing recording from what I was dealing with. And I listened to it and it was an amazing moment because I felt that heavy rock lifting off my shoulders. Mm-hmm. And I had a huge cry and I'm like, this is it. This is exactly what I needed. I needed to feel how I am accepting myself, how I am able to control my life, how I'm able to make the right decisions when I'm being triggered. Mm-hmm. And that's when I asked my friends, are you guys willing to try this? Because this is unbelievable. And they agreed to, and the results were amazing. And we actually released the sessions to LA Mommy's group that has like 50,000 followers. And we picked like 150 moms to try it because I really, really wanted to make sure I'm not the only one and my friends are not the only one. And yeah, we got amazing feedback back that this thing works, that moms felt so relieved. They were less angry. They were yelling less. They had more patience. They were doing bedtimes with so much more understanding and compassion towards their kids. Moms were rocking their kids longer. And it just made me feel so good that, you know, I was able to find what was helping me, but it's not just me. It can help any other mom out there. And at that point, I told my husband, I can't keep it to myself. Moms are too important. We have too much responsibility for the next generation, and I have to share this with the world. And so for the past 2.5 years, we've been working really, really hard. And we launched MamaZen about a year ago, and we're getting amazing feedback. Moms are really, really able to change very quickly within a few weeks the family dynamic, the way they parent their kids. And I'm just very, very excited about what's to come. So that's my story.
Yeah. That I love that it comes from such a personal experience, that it's probably extremely validating still to you to hear the feedback that you get from this, because you're like, yes, it's the same. That's exactly how I felt. Like, I'm not alone. You're not alone. And it is a very universal experience, unfortunately, that we find ourselves in such a overwhelmed, burnt out place and still feel like we're the only ones. That isolation is even more real right now.
The isolation is very real. And I remember in the beginning when I felt this way, I would call my friends and I'm like, this is how I feel. And they would be like, no, we're fine. Like, everything is good. I'm like, I cannot be the only one. And over time, I see more and more moms talking about it. And the pandemic made moms really stand up together and tell the world we are not okay. We need to be cared for. A mother cannot go through this process in her house by herself with her husband and come out of it like normal. She needs a lot of mental and emotional care, and society really deals with motherhood on a physical aspect. You're pregnant, it's only physical. No, it's not physical. The hormones are going up and down nonstop. You give birth, your hormones tank completely. You are changing again. And then what is out there for you to do? Most moms don't want to get on medication that can have other side effects, or they're breastfeeding and they can't. So this is a very natural solution that really is life-changing for moms and the kids and the household as a whole. Because when a mom is happy, everybody's happy around her. So that's the main mission we're on, is really, really to make sure that the family as a unit is thriving.
I love that. So needed, and exactly the aim that, I realize as well is that, like, the power comes from the leadership of the family. And when we're, that is the bottom of the pyramid that everything else is built up from. It's the foundation. If a parent's well-being is not intact, then everyone else is going to feel the ripple effects and the overflow of that struggle. And it's a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of pressure. It's very overwhelming when you don't know what options are out there, what resources are available, and you feel, responsible for basically fixing your own problems. But what I hope to do is just continue to cast light on what those options are and what other people's stories have been, so that you can find and resonate with what can be your next step. So I would love to dive into a little bit more about what MamaZen is and, why it was created in the way it was, so that listeners can really understand what we're talking about here. So tell me more about MamaZen.
So I think the important thing about MamaZen, it's not just another meditation app. We are definitely not a meditation app. We are dealing with the subconscious mind on a deeper level. And that's why the results are more effective and they're for a longer period of time. So your brain is basically controlled by the subconscious mind. It's 88% of your mind is your subconscious mind. So everything that you do almost during the day is automatic behavior. And it's a very natural state, by the way, to be in hypnosis. You know how sometimes you drive somewhere and all of a sudden you get there like, oh, I didn't even notice I got there? You were under a type of hypnosis. right before you fall asleep, when you start dreaming and you still remember what you were dreaming about, that's a type of hypnosis. It's actually a very relaxed state for your mind. And people sometimes think about hypnotherapy as something scary, but it has been used for thousands of years for health and especially your mind's health. And the stage hypnosis makes it look bad, but we're not going to make anybody cluck like a chicken or walk around in their sleep. This is not what it's about. What it's about is getting to a very, very calm state where your mind is not active. And then you're able to make changes to your automatic behavior. So let's say, for example, you don't like bedtime. You're really, really dreading bedtime. And your kids are wild and yelling and nobody listens. And it takes 3 hours. And every day you have to experience bedtime. You can't really avoid it.
No.
So every day before you start bedtime, you're already automatically in a state of stress. Mm-hmm. Some people have anxiety. Some people have anger. And your kids already notice it. Mm-hmm. So they feed off of your energy. So do you think it's going to make bedtime shorter, easier? No. So we are basically able to help a mom to shift her perspective of bedtime. We're not going to solve the fact that it's going to be maybe hard or challenging, but her reaction to the situation is going to be in a very calm state. So we're basically shifting the way she thinks about it, the way she behaves during it, the way she gets triggered. And you can only get those shifts if you're really, really in a hypnotic state. If you think about it, because they really, really require some work from your mind to be like, okay, tonight I'm not going to be yelling. How many times have you said, I'm not going to be yelling at bedtime? In 2 seconds later, you start yelling. Mm-hmm. And that's why our sessions are so effective, because we are able to make that change in the way the mom is being triggered and her perspective over any issue she has. And the other thing about the app that we found to be very helpful is we have over 150 sessions for motherhood struggles. So we cover a lot of topics. Any mom that goes on the app, no matter what age her kids are, will find something she can work on.
I have gotten to try it out, because you gave me access when we connected about this episode. And that's what I found so unique, is how it's very topical based, or how you can basically have personalized a prescription, of like, okay, if these are the things that you are consciously wanting to work on or struggling with, then here are the ones that are going to be the best fit, the ones that you should start with, or the ones that, would really resonate with that goal. And for me, it's always hard to, think about these big lofty goals of like, well, let's just, talk about being a better mom. Like, that's just way too vague, right?
Yeah.
It needs to be like, no, how do I stop yelling at bedtime at this toddler? And let's start there. So I love how dialed in it is to the real life day to day, and being able to kind of have the balm for exactly where I'm at.
Yeah. So we focused on pregnancy. We focused on the newborn period. We focused on toddler, which is a big topic, because they are very emotional and they have a lot of development, and their listening skills are very, very poor. Mm-hmm. And then we focused on, schoolers. They have a lot of challenges, and the moms have a lot of fears because they become more confident and they want more independence. Mm-hmm. And then obviously adolescence, which is, oh my goodness, fueled with impatience and anger. So we really, and we're adding a lot of sessions all the time. And by the way, we are aware that moms don't have a lot of time. So we created the Daily Mind Power Minute, which takes about 2 minutes. But it really resets how your intention for the day. And then we have long sessions that are up to like 22 minutes. So when you really want to dive deep into a topic, then you can do a very long session of relaxation and work on those habits that you really want to change.
So I'm in the head of a listener, I'm wondering if they're thinking like, okay, do I need to basically hypnotize myself and then do bedtime? You know, like when does this happen? How does it work? What do you recommend?
So I recommend basically when you download the app, put on your emotions. We ask you a few questions.
Mm-hmm.
Put the emotions you're struggling with the most. If it's anxiety, if it's anger and yelling. And then we're going to give you on the homepage your specific list.
Mm-hmm.
And you can choose the one that you want to focus on the most. People find it to be very effective if they find a time in the day that works for them. So if you're struggling with bedtime, I would do it like the night before. So after you do the bedtime, you can do a quick distress SOS and then dive deep into the dealing with bedtime issues. Some people have morning difficulties and stuff like that. So we recommend wake up 5-10 minutes before the kids wake up, do a session. Your morning routine is going to be amazing, and your kids, they're going to change. My kids really, really changed once I've done the increased patience and reduce anger. They became nicer with each other. They became more loving with us. And they actually noticed the difference in the way I was talking to them, because I could see them looking at me and listening more. And they were like, oh, okay, she's not yelling. What's going on? So you kind of have to find what triggers you and try to do the session before it happens. Because after it happened, you know, it's more about being angry and stressed out and anxious. But if you really want to deal with the behavior, we recommend obviously listen to the session before it happens. So use it before you lose it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's easy to remember.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, I'm interrupting this broadcast to see if you have downloaded and watched my free masterclass yet. It's called Chaos to Calm. It is specifically designed for families that have a strong-willed kid age 1 to 7 and are looking to prevent tantrums, eliminate power struggles, extend your patience, and get on the same page. In this free training, you will learn how to hold kind yet firm boundaries with your strong-willed child without crushing their spirit, swap timeouts and tantrums for truly connecting, meeting their core needs, and maximizing your influence. You'll learn how to establish rhythms, routines, and a healthy culture, so there's less fighting and more teamwork. You'll learn how to stop arguing about discipline and start feeling like a team by building a full toolkit of strategies that work. And you'll take control of your composure and rewrite the mindsets that are undercutting your patience, and avoid needing to save for therapy years down the road because you were the patient, loving, and calm parent your kids needed you to be. And if that sounds right up your alley, go to parentingwholeheartedly.com/masterclass, and you just put in your email, and then it'll pop up on the next screen. It'll also email you the link if you have to, wait to watch it, but it's on demand. At any time, just dive in and get the answers that you are looking for, and that's there for free, waiting for you. So if you haven't watched it yet, go find that right now, save that link in your email, and I can't wait to hear what you think of it. I'm so glad that you're a listener of Failing Motherhood, and I hope that you know we are cheering you on. So if a listener has done a different meditation app, let's say like Insight Timer or something like that, so they're used to what that format looks like, what can they expect that is different or unique about MamaZen's approach?
So with MamaZen, we're really guiding you through the whole process, and there's a lot of visualization. You're going to be looking at yourself and your life and your kids through your mind, and you're going to be experiencing a lot of the emotions, and you're also going to be able during the session to make the right kind of decisions. Like when you are dealing with the situation and you're really, really thinking, okay, how do I want to be? How do I want to behave? You're going to be able to do that through the session. So we're guiding you through the whole thing. It really doesn't require a lot of like time to sit in quiet and get rid of all your thoughts and things like that. We kind of do the work for you. All you have to do is find a quiet room, put your headphones on, and just kind of listen. Really, that's all it is.
Yeah. And I like kind of the reminders and the prompts at the beginning where it helps you understand kind of what you're about to do. And yeah, I like how there doesn't have to be that absence of like stopping thought, because I think that's a big struggle that moms have is like, well, I can't clear my mind. I can't, not keep thinking of like all the to-do list of the things I need to do later today.
Yeah.
And that idea of trying to be mindful is a struggle because, yeah, that sounds great in theory, but I can't get my brain to relax. I can't just like thinking about nothing. So instead, just basically listening and implanting fixating on something else, focusing on the visualization or focusing on the affirmations or the kind of phrases that are coming through on the recording, I find that to be more accessible for moms because it's like I can fixate on that.
Yeah, we also have a lot of focus on your breathing, and we get very, very tight and our breathing gets very, very shallow, and it really, really affects, the oxygen levels in our whole body. So we also focus on the breathing, but there's no really long periods of time that you just need to be thinking about nothing. And you're 100% right. Moms cannot do that. We have just too much going on. The other thing that we created that makes the app much more catered to mothers, we created the virtual mama coach. And that's a way for a mom to plug in, what she wants to work on, how much time does she have. And the app basically gives her the one session that she needs at the right moment. So if you really don't know what you want to start with, on the homepage, when you click how are you feeling and you put your mood check in, that's when we're going to be basically helping you to figure out exactly which session do you need with the amount of time you have available. So if you have like less than 5 minutes, we have something for you.
That's amazing because the decision fatigue is real.
Yes.
And like, when you scroll through Netflix and end up not watching anything because there's too many choices, that's a problem.
It is. And it's very easy for a mom to kind of lose her patience because she knows she has only 5 minutes. So if you start trying to figure out what you need, your time is out. So the virtual coach is super quick. It takes like 30 seconds, I think, to give you the right session that you need right now. Because we need help right now. I don't have time later, or I'm anxious right now. I'm impatient right now. I'm angry right now. So that's what we're about, like right now. And it's going to be affecting you later on. And that's also the biggest difference between what we do and just a meditation. During meditation, you're relaxed right now. And then when you go back to your life, the meditation doesn't come back and help you to relax. Our sessions are going to help you to be relaxed when you're triggered. And that's a huge plus for moms.
Yeah, because you're really reprogramming more of like the subconscious of what's happening in the background. And that's where the power comes from, is really trying to get under the surface and figuring out like, what am I thinking? How am I reacting in this way? And why is that my default? And you can consciously try to rewrite that story by fixating on some, repeating thoughts or something. But if really trying to change the conditioning that created that mindset in the first place is much more powerful.
Exactly. And our app is a very powerful tool. And I really, really feel like it can change generations to come. If we really, really want to become a more mindful and calm society, then we need tools that are actually going to make a difference in long term for years, and not just for like the next half an hour to an hour. And motherhood starts very early in the morning. And sometimes it doesn't end because at night they still come. So it's like an endless timeline that you need to be patient and calm. And if you don't have the right tools, you're kind of setting yourself to fail, right? And that's why I feel like a lot of moms feels like they're failing because they keep on repeating the same behavior that they really, really don't like. And that's why I didn't enjoy my motherhood experience before, because I felt like, why I'm not able to stop this cycle? Why is it so hard? Why am I like this? I used to be happy, easygoing before I had kids, and now all of a sudden I'm just full of rage and I feel sick all the time. And there's a solution out there, and it's through your mind and changing your everything from the inside that helps you to become the awesome mom you want to be. And I really, really see the difference. And people, a lot of people email us and they're explaining exactly how they feel. And I'm like, yes, you know, because whenever I help another mom, like my story, it's kind of suffering, wasn't in vain, because I was able to find something that can help so many people. And I'm very, very excited to share it with everybody. And I'm super excited it's in the type of an app, because everybody can have it on their phone and have easy access. You don't have to drive anywhere. You can be in your own house, in your comfortable room, and just feel good.
Yeah. And for a mom who has had no experience with hypnosis or hypnotherapy, so all they're picturing is like, you know, watching a wristwatch and, you know, clucking like a duck, or chicken. How can you put some of their fears at ease of more of exactly what they're kind of doing?
You're in full control over how you feel and your thoughts through the whole process. And once you try to do it, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Like when you're in a session, if your baby cries, you hear the baby cry, you stop the session, you go, you deal with the baby. If it's the right time for you to go back right afterwards, you go back. If not, you go back. Like nothing, it cannot damage your mind. It cannot have a negative effect. Like I said, it's a very natural state for the mind to be relaxed and drift away. It's not something that you do against your body and mind and health.
Like so trying to trick yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a natural state that your body's used to. You go in and out of hypnosis every day. So you shouldn't really worry about something that just happens to you, because it's part of your mind. And it kind of sucks that, you know, TV made it look like something you should be worried about, and it's a joke, because it's actually a very important type of therapy. There is research, and it shows that people that use hypnotherapy, their brains act differently. So, you know, you can do some of your research and see, but it's helped millions of people over centuries to overcome behaviors that they don't want to have. So I think people that are very, very scared should do, like, you know, their research and realize that this cannot do any harm to anybody. And the mom is always in control of her life and mind. And it's just a way for you to feel better and change a type of behavior you don't like about yourself. So
yeah, and it's not like you completely clock out where you don't know what just happened.
No, not at all. Some moms are very, very exhausted and they might fall into deep sleep, but that's their just body needing sleep.
Right.
Besides that, any mom will hear anything that's going on. If somebody opens the door, a mom will hear it. You don't really check out. It's nothing like that. It's very actually relaxing. And I find it to be an amazing break for my brain from the constant urgency to do stuff and lists and laundry loads and kids yelling. You give yourself the few minutes you need a day to keep your sanity. It's an amazing experience. And I really recommend everybody to at least try it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because like exactly what you said, the ripple down effect is real, because our kids thrive off of the vibe that we create and kind of dictate for the morning routine or the bedtime routine or whatever, like they are feeding off of us even consciously and subconsciously because they are just so perceptive. They're so observant. They're really trying to pick up on how is mom doing? Well, how do I need to be based on how mom's doing? What does that mean? You know, I want to be able to predict, okay, if this is what I'm hearing from her, then she's probably going to react like this. And it's a little bit of, you know, pins and needles, walking on eggshells when they know we're really irritated and on edge. And so when we can change that dynamic and when we can put our energy on the things that we can control, which is our own perception, our own, state of mind, then it will influence their behavior and they're going to react differently. Even if you're not picking up on any new actual parenting tools or, you know, changing, waking up 3 hours earlier or any of those like big, you know, situational things, even if it's just you're going to live the same day tomorrow as you did today, but you come into it with a little more, you know, mindset that is backing you up because of the work you're doing the night before, definitely don't discount the value in what could change.
Oh my God, it's I think moms that will go on MamaZen and find the right sessions for what they're struggling with, they're gonna notice the change in everybody around them. And their husband or mom or whoever is with them usually will be like, okay, what's going on? You're really calm right now, and usually you're yelling. And if you think about it, we named the app MamaZen because moms really need a lot of zen in their life. It's so chaotic with the pandemic and school and life and finances that moms don't really get much zen. And that's why 93% of them are just burned out. And it's very, very hard to wake up in the morning and put a smile on your face and be like a happy mom when you don't feel good because you're just going through too much. So your kids will super, super notice. And I predict most kids will probably change their behavior because they kind of copy what we do. My girls did. They got calmer. They became more loving. And I still, to this day, I will do some mindfulness moments with them. And you can feel their energy and how much they love it and how much everybody's just peaceful. And this is what it's about, right? Enjoying your motherhood and spending time with your kids and being present and not letting those thoughts run and kind of like affect your mood and happiness.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's what we're all trying to strive for sure. If you're a good mom and you're worried about the things that matter, that's exactly where your heart is. So for you to be able to find something accessible that can be just the balm you need, I think that's amazing. So tell listeners where they can find MamaZen.
So we're on Google Play and iOS, Apple Store. And right now we're giving a 30-day free trial. So any mom can download the app, sign up, and get to try the app for 30 days for free. We really, really believe that mothers should have the access, and a 30-day period is a good enough time for every mother who's super, super busy and to give it a try and take a few minutes here and there. You don't have to use the app every day. 2 to 3 times a week will take you a long, long way. So just basically go to the App Store and type in MAMAZEN. And we have some awesome questions in the beginning when you download the app. And then we're going to cater you whatever you need to work on. It's so easy.
Yeah, it really is. And it really makes it feel like it's your app. Like it's, really fine-tuned and specialized to the age your kids are and the things that you're wanting to improve. And so you're not just going to try to filter through a whole bunch of things that aren't, applicable. So I love how well it's been designed. Fantastic.
Awesome.
Job.
Thank you so much. We try to do our best to help moms move fast quickly so they can get what they need and not waste too much time trying to figure out what they need.
Yeah. No, you can really tell. It's so obvious that not only is it something that has worked for a lot of people, but it's really just been designed with, all of the new moms in mind of how can we help exactly where you're at and speak to what you're struggling with in a way that is really individualized and going to have a lot of ROI, return on the investment of the time that you use.
Exactly.
So you say like 2 to 3 weeks or 2 to 3 times a week?
2 to 3 times is more than enough because, like I said before, our sessions are very effective and they give you long-term. Obviously, if a mom wants to do it every day for a week and see the difference, she will probably have a bigger transformation. But if you're really, really short on time and you really don't have much help and you can do like even a session a week, 10, 15 minutes, put the headphones in, you will start feeling the difference the next day. It's that effective.
Yeah. Wow. And we can handle that. We can handle that.
Yeah, I think so too. I think prioritizing, right? Stop trying to find the right movie on Netflix and just do a session. There you go. That's 5 minutes right there.
Yeah, exactly. We can find the time.
Yeah.
So to sum up, if I, gave you the last 5 minutes here to say something that's really on your heart, what do you feel like moms need to hear?
This time and these challenges will pass. I think it's important to focus on what you can do today. Don't regret what you've done yesterday and don't worry about is going to happen tomorrow. And like your kids, when they play, they're super focused on what they're doing. Try to stay in the moment and try to really think about how you process thoughts and behaviors and really like go deep into what you want to feel and how you want to be. And, with the New Year resolutions, it's a lot of stress for us. Like, how am I going to be able to change and how do I do it? Just let it be. Just wake up in the morning and take 1 or 2 more little things that you can do to shift and don't focus on the big picture because that's when we get really, really stressed out and lost and all that stuff. So try to make small, tiny little habits. Don't try to do everything in January and then, you're setting yourself to fail, right? Again, try to do little steps and just kind of like really think what's important to you, how you want to live your life, how do you want to change and stuff like that. And then your kind of like body and mind will tell you what you need. And that's when you need to go and kind of like figure out, okay, how do I get there? What do I need to do to get there? And focus on one goal at a time. So if you are more angry and you have like yelling episodes that you really don't like, then just focus on that. Don't do diet and I'm going to exercise every day and stop yelling. Just one thing at a time because we're so overwhelmed as it is.
Oh, such good advice. Because once we turn to the new year, it's like all goals on deck, and like that's not possible.
No, we're people at the end of the day, and there's a limited amount of hours in the day. There's a limited amount of energy you have in the day, and when you're a mother, there are a lot of different players, right, in your game. So you can't really control everything and do everything. It's just impossible. And I think once we set the expectations lower, which is why we also have sessions for like, be okay with the mess in your house, which is a big thing for moms. They feel like they're really failing if the house is messy. And I feel like you can't have everything. It's like a triangle, right? A happy mom, happy kids, messy house. You can't, it's just impossible. So you really, really have to think, what's the most important thing for me today?
Such good advice. Really practical. I feel like that sums up exactly what we've been talking about the whole time. So the last question that I ask every guest that I have on is, how are you the mom that your kids need?
I think I listen. I listen to them. I listen to their dad. I listen to the way they talk to each other. I listen to myself when I talk to them. And I try to tell everybody, like, be respectful to yourself, to your parents, to your sibling, to really, really, like, try to listen and then reply with something that makes sense for their age too. So if I listen to them, obviously I'm not gonna come out with like, your subconscious mind is not okay with this. Stop doing that. So I kind of try to bring things that they can understand and also tell them I hear you. So I listen and then I'm like, okay, I heard you. This is exactly what you told me. But at the same time, you need to work on yourself and you shouldn't be doing whatever you're doing because this is how it's going to affect you and your sister, or it's going to affect the way we, our energy. It's kind of like the energy of everybody, right? So really, really try to just listen to them and you're going to hear a lot more before kind of reacting to them.
Yes. Oh, that's so huge. So huge. in all our relationships.
And mothers need to listen to themselves too. Like, if they're feeling overwhelmed, listen to your body. Your body is telling you. Your reactions, the anxiety, the rage, it's your body basically telling you, you need to pause. You need to breathe. It's too much for you. You're overwhelmed right now. So really listen. Just pause and just listen. If things get out of control, just take your time.
Yes. I mean, everything feels so urgent, but really, we're going to make better decisions and handle things more effectively if we take a breath first.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yes. And don't discount how much you may not be listening well enough to your kids, because if they feel like their message isn't received, and then they're going to feel like they have no choice but to escalate with other modes of communication, which is their behavior. And when usually they're not listening because they don't feel listened to. And I think there's a whole another episode we could do on diving into that factor alone, which is what I do with a lot of my one-on-one clients. But I feel like we touched on so many good things that listeners can run away with today, in addition to downloading MamaZen. So I'm excited that you're offering that free trial. I will link all of that in the show notes so that you can easily see how it's spelled and how to find it on your phone. But thank you, Irin, for your time and for being able to create something so powerful. It is so needed, and all of that effort is so appreciated.
Thank you so much for having me, and I was happy to share my story, and I'm really happy you gave me the opportunity to talk about my mission and what we're really about.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Okay, so I hope that you have already ran, not walked, to your app store on your phone, wherever you're listening to this, and found and downloaded MamaZen, and I hope you're trying it out for the free 30-day trial. And just let me know what you think. If you give it a try, you love it, don't love it, send me a DM. I hope we're connected on Instagram. I am at parent_wholeheartedly. You can go find MamaZen app on Instagram as well. And just, I hope that you find some relief. I hope that you know that you're not alone, and know that there are resources out there. You just have to find the right fit for you. So if that is finding a coach that's going to help you and your partner create a plan for your strong-willed kiddo and write your family business plan through the process, feel so much more confident and clear about who you are as a family, what you're trying to do at your house, and know a lot more ways to get cooperation with your toughest kiddo, heal your relationship with them, and know that you're on the right track, then let's talk. Schedule that free call or download my masterclass, Chaos to Calm, and just see what that could do for your family. And if it's not that, it could be MamaZen, it could be a life coach, it could be meditation, it could be any of those things. But I hope that you find it, And I hope that you know that it gets better. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. I believe in you, and I'm cheering you on.